Hello and welcome to another episode of Next Week in Gaming. Next week is our November week 2, and as usual we'll be covering reviews, early access releases, bundles, deals and all that kind of stuff. So first up we have a rather awesome autumn sale by GOG, and this is of course the DRM free autumn sale. This one ends on the 15th of November, it's going on for another week or so, and this has got not just a load of excellent deals involving games like The Witcher 3 and all those old DRM free games that everyone knows GOG for. There's also some reasonably cool stuff like build your own bundles, and there's also like a little unlock mechanism, so instead of sitting there and collecting cards for all those dollars you spend on Steam, this time you get free games. So if you spend $5, you get a free game. If you spend $15, you get Chronicles of Riddick, and if you spend $30, you get Banished. So all in all, it's probably very easy to spend $30 in one of these sales, and to be honest, on GOG you can probably get yourself at least 6 games for $30 anyway, so go check out that sale. There's always something there for everyone. Coming out on Monday the 9th of November is a game by Cooply Solutions, which bizarrely sounds like some sort of business that you get cold calls from. And this is a game called Orc Slayer. Now you might think immediately Orcs Must Die and you'd be relatively close, except instead of being sort of like a third person game, this is more of a first person shooter and you've only got one player. It's all single player, unfortunately. I feel like they might have missed out a little bit there, and you're playing a single character and all you've got is a crossbow. The catch is, instead of random levels, you will be travelling across an entire world into various different environments like castles, swamps, fields, valleys. It's all very quite random, quite open and explorable, which is nice. It's a new addition. The graphics are a little bit they're a bit average. They're not quite as good as Orcs Must Die, except the main variation is a couple of different types of enemies, and you collect different types of magical bolts to unleash great grand explosions all over the place. It does look a little bit rough around the edges. It's not coming out on early access or anything. It's just a full release game, so we'll just have to see how well that one gets on next week. Next is a rather big release a lot of you guys have been waiting for, and that is Fallout 4. This is of course by Bethesda Softworks and is releasing on Tuesday the 10th of November. It's pretty much business as usual. You've still got the VAT system, but as well as third person and first person combat. It's the same massive open world thing in that big post-apocalyptic nuclear type wasteland. Fully explorable sandbox area, tons and tons of map space, massive map, lots of factions and reputations to earn, as well as just a general do what the hell you want atmosphere style game. The special system has been nicely streamlined. I think, in my opinion, it's been nicely streamlined. Before it was a little bit hooky, and I have to wonder if they've kept that random perk where if you kill someone all your VAT points are completely restored, because that was horribly overpowered by the end of the game. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. We won't be running a review, I think, because we have so many new releases coming up, one of which that we shall mention soon. Next up we have StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void, which is of course by Blizzard, and that's coming out on Tuesday the 10th of November. This is a game we will be reviewing soon, except press aren't allowed to review it until after release, which is a little bit annoying. But this game is going to be also business as usual, because instead of being the Tyranny Wings of Liberty and the Zerg and Heart of the Swarm, you will instead be playing the Protoss, and your primary commander will be Artanis, who is probably one of the most awesome characters in the entire game, and you're just going to be following a bunch of clues and trying to figure out this random prophecy on how to kill this Xel'Naga called Ammon. So it's obviously going to add a bunch of new units, which is going to massively affect multiplayer. I wouldn't profess myself to be a grandmaster in multiplayer. I think the highest rank I ever reached was Platinum, which is pretty good. That probably took me a very long time to get there, but I imagine most of you who are hardcore StarCraft players have got enough damn sight closer to the Grandmaster League than I have. But that's going to be interesting, and we're going to be running a review on that soon, but not next week. Releasing on Friday the 13th of November is one of the dozens in the series of the Football Manager games. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever played Championship Manager 2001 and 2002. That has a forum dedicated to it still, which is amazing because they've been adding bug fixes and new content to that game for a very long time. So who knows, maybe that game has as bigger following as Football Manager will eventually. This game is pretty much the same as all the other Football Managers, and they've just added a hell of a lot of extra animations. They've just improved on an already relatively good concept. I can actually kind of get Football Manager. I'm not much of a football person, but I can kind of see why a lot of football fans would choose that over the more arcadey FIFA style and Pro Evolution Soccer games. So it actually kind of makes sense to me. Managing things is relatively fun, and this is basically building on a relatively decent set of games already by adding a lot of new stuff and just making it look better and feel better. So hopefully some of you will find that relatively advantageous. And on to our review title for next week, which will be Call of Duty Black Ops 3. That will be coming out on Thursday the 12th of November, the review that is. And I feel like I am going to slightly eat my words of negativity that I put in our last Next Week in Gaming episode, because after talking with a few other members of press and just general other players, it does actually look like Treyarch have probably created something that's relatively interesting and new in a franchise that has been largely repetitive and built on the same engine. So after looking at some of the gameplay stuff, and I've got the game on preload and I'm about ready to review it, it actually looks like it might be different and might be a little bit more fun. Dare I say, it might bring us back to the old Modern Warfare days. So I am cautiously optimistic that this game might be pretty good. But check out our review next Thursday on that to see if it's a spot better than some of those old Black Ops titles. That's it from us at NextPowerUp. Join us next week on Thursday for our weekly review, and of course on Saturday for our next Week in Gaming episode. As usual, leave your comments in the section below for what you guys have been playing. I've decided to jump back into Heroes of the Storm. Unfortunately, Smite didn't last very long. But of course, next week is a big set of releases for some pretty big games. Call of Duty released yesterday, so let us know how you guys have been gearing up for that. If you're interested in tech news, go ahead and visit our sister site and sister channel, NextPowerUp. And that's it. See you guys next time.